Travis Wayne Goodsall. In President Benson's Second General Conference, October 1986, he came out and said that the coming of Jesus Christ would be in 3 more decades. So his Solemn Assembly General Conference, he had told us Aaronic priesthood holders, as I just became a priest in the Aaronic priesthood, that we are the youth of the noble birthright. And so we were the ones to prepare for the coming of Jesus Christ in 3 more decades. First Nephi, chapter 1. Yea, I make a record in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. For it came to pass in the commencement of the 1st year of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah. This was 597 BCE. The Jews in Judah were tributary to the Egyptians. As such, the language of the Egyptians was used. In Lehi's second vision, which curiously is an exact same pattern match for Joseph Smith's second vision, sun god at noonday. For the Egyptian language, that is Amen, the god Amen, sun god at noonday. Depending on which country of origin, depends on the phonetics. The ancients were visionaries, not phonetics. They weren't hooked on phonetics. You gotta be a visionary. The Rosetta Stone was an attempt to make it phonetic. No, no, no. No, no, no. You remove a whole bunch of meaning from visionary languages of seers. So, sure enough, in the Book of Mormon, from the great prophet Jesus, we get 2 Nephi, chapter 17. Hear ye now, O house of David. The Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. The religion of the Book of Mormon is of the house of Israel, with the Christ Emmanuel. Jewish tradition talks about a specific Christ, It is not Christian Jesus. 2 Nephi chapter 3. Wherefore, Joseph of Egypt truly saw our day, and he obtained the promise of the Lord, that out of the fruit of his loins the Lord God would raise up a righteous branch unto the house of Israel. Not the Messiah, but a branch which was to be broken off. Nevertheless, to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord, that the Messiah should be made manifest unto them in the latter days. Verse 15, we have the name of this Messiah, Ben Joseph of Egypt. Joseph Jr. Every single Mormon knows this is Joseph Smith, the seer. Joseph Smith, like Joseph of Egypt, is a seer. And a seer, according to Mosiah chapter 8, chapter 8, explains that a seer is a prophet and a revelator also, and that these are gifts of God, powers of God. The gift and power of God is the seer, who is a prophet, who is a revelator, who is a translator. Anybody know Hebrew? Elijah, Jeremiah, Yahshua, Mosiah, Mose, Yah. So Yah is the Hebrew God. Do you know what Mose is? Let's go back to 2 Nephi chapter 3. Verse 9. And Joseph Smith shall be great like unto Moses, whom I have said I would raise up unto you to deliver my people, O house of Israel. The Messiah, the human, mortal, Mormon, after Joseph Smith. This is the learning of the Jews. This is Emmanuel, Messiah, Ben David, Moses, Emmanuel. whom Benson told us is coming in 3 decades from October Conference 1986 1986. So let's see if I have it on the file here. It would be my life. 1986. Sure enough. Oh, interesting. October 4th and 5th was General Conference weekend, which was the first and second days of New Year for the Jews. Tishri, civil calendar. So, skip ahead to the latter days. 2016. Do you remember the 25th? So, conference this time was still on. Well, it was on the 1st and 2nd of October, which the first day of Tishri was the 3rd. Interesting. So, anybody know Joseph Smith translation? Revelation chapter 12? I should have looked ahead to cheat, to tease you. Even though I already know, but it's still 2 days after. Yeah. It's in 1 Nephi, chapter 14, is it? Yep, verse 27. Nephi's tree of life vision, the iron rod leading to the tree of life. He says, I, Nephi, heard and bear record that the name of the apostle, of whom I am not supposed to write anymore, because he wrote the rest of it, of the Lamb was John. The name of the apostle of the Lamb, John. He writes about the latter days. So, going to the book of Revelation of the apostle of the Lamb, from chapter 19 specifically. But verse 12. Ooh, look, Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12. Verses 1 to 17, appendix. Note the changed sequence of verses in the Joseph Smith translation. Verse 5 got moved to verse 3, and verse 3 got combined with verse 4 to be verse 4. So the additions are very curiously interesting. And there appeared a great sign in heaven. That's calendar date and clock time and science of astronomy. how we get our calendars. It's how we get our clocks. Do they still teach that in school? Younger generation, according to YouTube, don't watch my channel. I know that that's a lie. YouTube is covering up and hiding my actual viewers. Because there have been some people making comments lately who are not all older than I am. YouTube. Where are they? You should have at least put a little thin line and a very minimal percentage. Where are they? For the last 2 years, it's been like this. And I know there's been a lot of people younger than I am coming to my channel, YouTube. Where are they? Nonetheless. So, in the likeness of things on the earth. Now in Moses, chapter 1, Joseph Smith translation, about Moses, he confronts Lucifer. Lucifer tries to say that he's the only begotten, because he's going to ascend to the throne of Emmanuel, the great spirit, or the great prophet Jesus. If we were to keep reading in the Book of Mormon, strangely, Lucifer is in there. Huh. That's from the Latin Vulgate. It's phosphorus from the Septuagint. Lila in the biblical Hebrew. And yet, the Latin Vulgate is in the Book of Mormon. Because that was the King James Version of the Bible, which, according to Joseph Smith, the Bible is the Word of God as far as it is translated correctly. We believe the iron rod to be the Word of God. Moses responds with, I am in the similitude of the only begotten. Thus, Messiah ben David, Moses, who is Emmanuel, is the thing, not the likeness. This is a vision. Lehi has a vision. The great prophet Jesus had visions. Seer. So there's seer that was added in. That the apostle of the Lamb named John is having visions, not literal histories. Verse 7 is added. The woman vision is the church. And the church gives birth to the Christ, the latter-day Christ, the millennial kingdom. Thus, verses 1 to 3 is the date, calendar date, clock time, sign in heaven of the coming of the Mormon, who is the Christ, Messiah, Ben David, Moses, who is Emmanuel. After Joseph Smith, who is Messiah, Ben Joseph. 23rd September 2017. Third day of the new year. Seer, prophet, revelator, translator. Spirit, S-P-R-T. This is the pattern throughout the Book of Mormon and by Joseph Smith, to be applied to correctly translate, interpret, and define words incorrect in the Bible. This is the gospel of Joseph Smith. Now, according to the tradition of the Jews, Messiah Ben Joseph is going to be murdered. How many knows the date today? I already did it earlier. I've been throwing it in videos for a couple of weeks now. I had made a picture for this day, but then a couple of days ago, doing it early, I made a new picture instead. So today, we're doing another one. And I modified the picture that I was going to use from a couple of weeks ago. I'm sneaky that way. Was Joseph Smith murdered? Yes, he was. We all know it. But the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints skipped it today. Nothing in the church news about it. And yet, for the 24th of July, what do you bet they have something about that? What do you bet Governor Cox allows for the use of fireworks for that day? Yeah. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the exact same pattern match for the great and abominable Church of Lucifer. That the great prophet Jesus had a vision of in the latter days, for which the hero of the story, Emmanuel, will come to save the house of Israel Mormons, if and only if they listen to him. So yes, Lucifer does not want Mormons to know about Emmanuel, and so they will censor Emmanuel. They will try to murder Emmanuel, destroy Emmanuel, even divert Mormons away from Emmanuel, saying, don't listen to apostates, stay away. Only the leaders of the church have the right to the mantle titles, denying the gifts and powers thereof of prophet, seer, revelator, not translator. They won't translate the Bible correctly. They won't do any other translations. And they go around the world sending out the little kids to bear false witness of the Great Spirit, Jesus, who is a part of the Antichrist and the apostates throughout the Book of Mormon. The Great Spirit, Jesus, is not real. He's the false Christ. He's an idol statue god. Don't worship him. Oops. Lucifer is very tricky, very deceitful, and he threatens that you obey him or he will destroy and murder you. So let's go back again to Joseph Smith. The origins of the Book of Mormon, correcting church history now. William Morgan came to Joseph Smith Sr. as the Master Mason at his lodge in Canandaigua, New York, Ontario, number 23, around the spring of 1812. It's actually September 1823. Nonetheless. And they're working on a book to encode using Revelation 12, because that was the enemy's coding for their plot to overthrow the brand new America. The United States of America with a constitutional republic, Congressman. Overtime on Bill Maher yesterday, the congressman on his show made a big oopsie as a government leader and said we're a democratic republic. Hell no! Did you ever read your Constitution? What the bleepin' hell? He's in a position of government office and he doesn't even know the Constitution to know that we're a constitutional republic. Dear God, such incompetence. Lost my respect at that moment. No party government. Nonetheless. But that's part of the overthrow. As Christians did to the Bible, they were going to pose as Christians to destroy mankind and Christianity. And so they got to beef up the United States of America. So that it can be a massive fall in the latter days. have all the world dependent upon it, and thus falling the church, or the United States, thus would fall the rest of the world, to collapse the economies, collapse the governments, send the whole world into war, burning and destroying. So they needed to warn America, but they couldn't come right out and expose them, because if they did, the enemy would just alter their plans. Say, okay, well, we're going to have to find another encoding and do another date and time of our planned attack, because we've been exposed, so we can't use Revelation chapter 12 anymore. Thus the need for encoding. And as science was emerging, perfect. It's their code anyway. So, thus, in the Americas at that time, lots of people are talking about Jews coming from Jerusalem to the United States of America. People believe that the United States of America was going to be the New Jerusalem. I wonder why. Solar eclipses only occur over a specific place over the world. So when you use a sign in the heavens, Revelation 19, of a solar eclipse, you not only give a calendar date and clock time, you also give the location on Earth where it will occur. The vision with the prophecy and the revelation. Thus, sign by Isaiah, the great prophet Jesus, is the 3 days of darkness, forming the first and last letters of the Paleo-Hebrew script, of the A on its side, and the Cairo over the United States of America, 2017, 21st of August, 14 October 2023, 8 April 2024, Revelation 19, 11 and 17, with that Lamb who is in Aries, Jupiter, the child born of the woman. The start of the ministry for Lehi. The Book of Mormon starts us off in 2017. Everybody knew, except for Christians. And so, on 9/11/1826, the enemy found out and threatened to have him locked up for life in debtor's prison if he didn't shut up. He would be murdered. So David Miller again bailed him out. And Joseph Smith Sr., as the Master Mason, is responsible for his brethren. Helped them flee the country. It was a Thomas Monroe incident. He was going to expose them, and thus put his life in jeopardy. Thus, Morgan Monroe. More good, huh, Bruce? Because of those Chinese devil Mormons. You cover up and hide it from them, huh? Couldn't just tell them the truth that this is not Mormon, this is Mormon. And so, Joseph Smith Sr. can't be doing it alone. People are out to find those manuscript pages of 116 to burn and destroy them so that nobody will know of their plot, thus murder the people who have them. There's a massive search that occurred. And so he knew Sidney Rigdon. Sidney Rigdon told him about an unpublished manuscript that he recovered from the Pittsburgh press. He died. The author died. Solomon Spaulding. So the press can't publish it. They need money, and it's somebody else's work, so they can't publish it. Nobody from the family came to claim it, and so all they can do is throw it away or give it away. That's why Sidney Rigdon hung out there all the time. I'll take it. Here you go. They can't sell it to him. So Sidney Rigdon added it to his collection. Joseph Smith Sr. knew about this because Sidney Rigdon told him. They knew each other. Somehow, some way. Most likely from Palmyra. When Joseph Smith Sr. moved there in 1816, because 1818 in May, he got the Manchester farm and then became Master Mason on May 7th. Brotherhood take care of their own. Thus was able to move the family there too. And so Sidney Rigdon now is out in Ohio. So Oliver Cowdery was used to go be the scribe for Sidney Rigdon. But Sidney Rigdon demonstrates that he knows no more than that they are writing a book. You gotta keep the number of people who know to a minimum. Because people's lives are in danger the more you leak. The more people that know, the more lives are in danger. So Sidney Rigdon knew that Senior was working on a book. Oliver Cowdery knew that he was needed to help with the book. That's it. Only Senior knew the reason for the book and the secret coding. And Junior. Because now, as you now know from the Book of Mormon, Junior was set up to be Messiah ben Joseph. So you kind of need to tell him. And so, 6th of April, 1830, 6 sons form the church. To compete against the enemy of 5 men of the Illuminati who infiltrated America and into the Scottish Rites, Freemasonry, with the 33 degrees. Not the York Rites with the Knights Templar of Joseph Smith Sr. Sr. had to write the book in William Morgan's name about illustrations of Masonry, about the 3 craft degrees and the duties and responsibilities of the Master Mason. So if you read it, you'd understand why Sr. needed to get William Morgan out of the country to save his life, and why he was taken care of when he became a Master Mason, so that he can take care of his family on the farm. They help each other. And Junior is now being taught about his role as Messiah ben Joseph. The Martin Harris thing, Joseph Jr. was a babysitter. There is no linguistic pattern of Joseph Smith Jr. anywhere in the Book of Mormon. Doesn't exist because he didn't write any composition of any of it. Oliver Cowdery got to participate. For example, the doctrine of faith leading to works in Alma chapter 32, starting in verse 28. That's him. Parley P. Pratt had sparse showings at the beginning, a brief one in the middle, and then a brief one right near the end. Parley P. Pratt was the one that was used to get Sidney Rigdon into the church. He was a part of his congregation. And sure enough, the missionaries in Palmyra, where Parley P. Pratt was. Hey, here's the Book of Mormon. I'm going to read this all night. And then we'll make a video of it. How rare a possession. And so, sure enough, they paid Sidney Rigdon for his work by putting him to work with what he wanted to do and revise the Bible, the Joseph Smith translation. And so that was also an opportunity for the Smiths to throw in some extra stuff about Joseph of Egypt, Moses, Revelation chapter 12. To expand upon the Book of Mormon teachings. And so Martin Harris was the money man. He knew the Smiths, not just Joseph, because of working at his farm. According to the actual story, rather than the one I was told, Joseph Smith and Martin Harris went into the forest to do the work that they were doing. Senior and the other brothers of Junior were the ones who dug the well. Nonetheless, Martin Harris knew of Joseph Jr. and the rock and a hat trick that Senior had taught him as a child's game, having been with the New Israelites in Vermont. Because it doesn't make money, it's not real. It's a kid's game. Even though Justice Winchell tried to con people into believing that it was real. That dowsing is so true, you can find buried treasure. Yet Senior was not convinced. Senior was also not very happy with Nathaniel Wood's spiritual wives. Spiritual wifery. So he never became a member. He just attended the meetings to learn about Jewish Kabbalah. So yeah, guess who had to rewrite the 116 pages, Junior? Because he's the only one who knows the whole big picture. This book needed to get published. So yeah, he had to rewrite it. They still had the original 116 pages. Don't be fooled on that. 116 pages was with Sidney Rigdon. And Junior had them briefly in Harmony, north of Pittsburgh, where he was copying the 116 pages onto another parchment, which also would teach Junior about the content in advance. And that if they had been able to continue without Martin Harris stealing them, Junior would have been receiving additional manuscripts by Oliver Cowdery, who just happens to visit. Hey, what's going on, Joseph? Hey, Oliver. Here's the next manuscript pages. Yeah, Martin Harris went back to Palmyra to get some stuff. Yeah, that's how it would have been. But he stole it. Junior's son died. And so they went to the Methodist church, and the Methodist preacher said, hey, you were arrested as a glass looker. March 20th, 2026, or 1826. And so they were booted out of the Methodists and the town of Methodist. It's a town of Methodists, Harmony, north of Pittsburgh. And if you're out of the church and they don't want you in it, they don't want you in their town either. And so, well, that sucks for Emma's parents. As they all then end up going to Junior's dad's house to let him know what happened. Junior! Yeah, section 3. Put it in that context of church history now. And you can understand what's really going on. Martin Harris was a part of the anti-Mason committee formed after the disappearance of William Morgan on 9/11/1826. Junior and Senior can't come out and tell him the truth about the enemy that tried to destroy America, and that they're writing the book about the enemy's plot to destroy America in the future. Because the more people you involve, the greater the risk of getting exposed and the whole plan being rewritten. so that then nobody will know. So yeah, he went back to his anti-Mason committee that he was a part of in Palmyra to see if there was any there in the original 116 pages. Thus the need to put it more into a template of the Solomon Spaulding manuscript, which Sidney Rigdon was using anyway for the rest of the Book of Mormon. Because section 3 makes that very clear that that's what they were doing to continue the 116 pages. To continue after the 116 pages. But they managed. The Whitmers were then utilized to join, have visions of the plates, to be witnesses. There were no plates, obviously. And so for the Whitmers to then say, I deny the vision that I had, well, they can't, because they had a vision. That's what Thayer's talking about. So he doesn't deny it, even though David Whitmer becomes a Christian to all believers in Christ. He cannot be told the truth. They need support for the narrative, which is a diversion from the truth, to keep it encoded. And so thus, checking on Martin Harris a year later, there was nothing there. So they could have used the original 116 pages, but a marvelous work and a wonder is about to come forth among the children of men. Yeah, they're almost finished now. The 116 pages were rewritten by Senior. Oliver Cowdery is done, and that's why he now joins with Junior with the Whitmers, and that allows Oliver Cowdery to hook up with a little Whitmer girl. So that solidifies the family to be a part of the church that would emerge, to be one of the, to have the Whitmers be a part of the witnesses and to be a part of the original church. Hiram Page also, if we were to check, because I know that picture is still on this computer. There you are. Not too far. Seriously? So, Jr., Oliver Cowdery, Peter Whitmer Jr., Hiram Smith, David Whitmer, and Samuel H. Smith. The original six. The superheroes of America that nobody knows to this day, unless you're watching this video. Joseph Smith Sr., by rescuing William Morgan and getting the Book of Mormon completed, saving America from an attack in 1826, is an American hero. Needs to be buried in Arlington. Nonetheless, so should Junior, since he was a candidate for president. And that's where we enter stage 666 left, the Illuminati Scottish Rites of Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball. in April of 1832. And they had found out that this is the church that foiled their plot, that the Book of Mormon is the book. So they hatched a plan to do the Illuminati tactics, to infiltrate, rise up in number, rise up in rank, take over leadership, destroy new religious order. And so they infiltrate. And then they are sent out on missions. They go right back to the very people who are looking for revenge on whoever got William Morgan out of the country. We found them. This is what we're planning. We're in. Mass numbers are converted by Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball, who then likewise become missionaries. And by September 1832, we get Section 84 of the Doctrine and Covenants, where Joseph Smith is saying, "What the hell, missionaries? You've put the whole church under," Benson, would you like to take over? "Condemnation." For lying about Joseph Smith, about the church, about the Book of Mormon. In case you forgot, start the video over again. Yeah, they were calling it Christian. To do the same cover up and hide tactic of Roman Emperor Constantine 325 CE, the creation of Christianity, and the abomination they did to the Jews with the Jewish scriptures, turning them literal history, creating a new religion, creating a not real Homoousion Great Spirit Jesus, naming him Jesus instead of Emmanuel. And thus, by turning everything literal history, now the Jews murdered their own Christ during the Roman period time. Excuse me? What? It's about the Mormons murdering their Christ, Messiah ben Joseph. Oops. So read that section or chapter in the Book of Mormon where you are taught, reinforced by Bruce R. McConkie in the chapter heading, that the Jews murdered Jesus. Now put Mormons in there. We're getting to it. You've already seen it on the pretty picture that I made, adding to the previous picture that I was going to use for today. Right, Oaks? Bastard. So I guess we should get this up on the screen. So we still got to use the murder one that I added the picture so I can combine things and make things easier rather than putting a whole bunch of pictures in. Trying to minimize pictures, even though that's what people watch and then they leave. Let's see what pretty pictures Travis has. Oh, okay, he's done. He's now talking. I'm out. Come on. Come on. So they refused to listen to Joseph Smith, obviously. And so in December 1832, sure enough, still lying about Joseph, the church, and the Book of Mormon. Christians are being converted to Christianity, not to Joseph Smith's church. So now in section 86, Joseph Smith is calling them apostates, sowing tares among the wheat. They have the keys of Peter, James, and John, not Moses. Section 107, verses 91 and 92. The head of the church is the Messiah. Amazing. Who's the only one who has the gifts and powers of God, of seer, prophet, revelator, translator, spirit. Corporate governance for Melchizedek priesthood protocol. Section 107. The whole thing. Hey, look, there's Emmanuel. The hidden name. To avoid the too frequent repetition of the name Lucifer, we call him Jesus. Exactly. Illuminati, claiming to be Christians. Ta-da. And so they still aren't obeying, but they're keeping a lower profile as problems ensue for Joseph. But in 1834, Sidney Rigdon proposes a name change in the meeting, unanimous vote, Church of the Latter-day Saints. Notice no Jesus? That was in May 1834. The 7th is coming to mind, which I think that is the date of when Senior became a Master Mason. That would be interesting if that's the same date. I'd have to check on that. I'm not going to do it now. And so 1835, the Quorum of the 12 Apostles to organize the missionary efforts, to have Thomas B. Marsh responsible for making sure that the name is taught correctly to them, that they preach the Book of Mormon, that there's an organized system of returning and reporting after being assigned 2 by 2. And then he gives a report to Joseph, so that Joseph knows and can go out and set up the church, putting the administration in order. Not the missionaries. That's not their assignment. That's not their keys. Joseph Smith and Joseph Smith Papers repeats the rules and orders. Go in, convert, get the hell out. Unless you're called to speak at a conference, get out. Go convert more. And yet, those Danites, as they would eventually be called. The Order of Dan, the God of Amos chapter 8, verse 14. Well, sneaky. Nonetheless. So Joseph Smith also gets the Egyptian papyri. 1836 comes along. In January, he finally gets Rabbi Sykes to teach him Hebrew. Rocky Yang. Then the dedication of the Kirtland Temple. All verses of our anthem. And Adam on Diamond. And on the 3rd of April, when I read the quote from Bruce R. McClunky talking about, it's not about Passover. God, it's all about Passover. Elijah of the tradition of the Jews and Moses. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints trivializes and minimalizes, if not leaving him out, Moses. All of them technically are the same person in similitude. It's a vision. Remember, after this vision closed, we had another vision. What the hell makes you think it's literal history? Oh, right, the great and abominable church of Lucifer, who lie and deceive, cover up and hide. Secret signs, oaths and covenants of the path, with death penalties. That. And so now that Joseph Smith has this vision after the temple, he now runs a similitude for the members of the church who have been converted away from the headquarters. And so he's running a similitude to teach them through example. With the keys of Moses, he calls for the gathering of the scattered saints to Zion. Just like Messiah ben Joseph. And so all of these Christians come to Kirtland. A temple, a Book of Mormon, a Bible. We've got a Bible and we need no more Bible. A prophet. There are no such things as prophecies and revelations ever since the death of the living prophets of apostles. If you don't know your first vision in the Methodist preacher meeting, now you know the real church history behind it. Brigham Young was also a Methodist preacher. Yeah. And Egyptian, they're just freaking out. They're Christians. All of this stuff is of the devil to them. because of Constantine and the First Creed. The wrongly converted Mormons by this evil group were then weaponized, and they attempted to murder Joseph Smith and Sidney Rigdon, chasing them out of Zion. Just like Adam and Eve being cast out of the Garden of Eden and went eastward in the Garden of Eden to Adam on Diamond. Anybody check the maps? Anybody check the picture that I made not too long ago? Been used several times. Salt Lake City, west, Adam on Diamond. Almost an exact parallel. The parallel line, or I don't think perpendicular, right? Same. Almost. It's very close. Very close. I'd have to get a map that shows the different lines. See if how close it is. Yeah, that's their thinking, because it's their code for the latter-day coup. That's why Brigham Young fled to this valley, and that's why he said this is the right place. And yet descendants keep trying to correct Mormons who say this is the place. No, this is the right place. You need to get it correct. It doesn't matter. You're trying to divert away from the fact that Brigham Young is the enemy of mankind. That he's doing things on purpose that you do not see. Nonetheless. So yes, this is what he did. The head of the church is gone. A coup in progress. Those Mormons, after chasing out Joseph Smith, formed their own Christian church using the exact same name, Church of Christ, but clarifying it with Old Standard so as not to be confused with this fake Christian church who murdered Jesus. Yeah, they try to murder the Christ because they blame the Jews for murdering Jesus. To see the evil of the Danites now. No? Need more? So the Danites decide to take over leadership. Hey, we gotta leave Kirtland. Let's take you to Missouri. And yeah, that's where Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit exposes their whole plot in Missouri, for which Willard Richards, writing the church history in this valley, confirmed with a document all of his own about how Thomas B. Marsh is correct. So did you not obtain that extermination order and affidavit by Thomas B. Marsh? Heber? Huh. So that you could have told Willard Richards, hey, let's not expose ourselves as these Danites, as Thomas B. Marsh did. Did you not think of that? Or did you? Because you exposed yourself. Or maybe you did on purpose so that it wouldn't be known generally. Because because it never became canon of Scripture. Your forged documents of everything that Thomas B. Marsh exposed did. The baptisms for the dead, which is all about their plot to destroy and burn the world in the latter days. Thus the need for baptisms of the literal dead by proxy. And thus how Joseph Smith was sealed by proxy to all those women they claim he had sex with during his lifetime. And then gave him a second anointing as a dead zombie by proxy. All of that is secret coding. Jasmine, Alyssa Grenfell, John Dallin, because the Mormon employee, by hiding my true viewers, are making it look like none of the younger Mormons are following me. And they're the ones who follow Jasmine as Mormons, or John Dallin and Alyssa Grenfell as anti-Mormons. Why aren't anti-Mormons following me? Well, there was that Christian the other day who made her comment. She was confused with my comments going against Alyssa. I must be a Mormon. Yep, still haven't heard back from her. People just don't care to know the truth. But that's not supposed to be the condition for all of the people younger than I am. There are people who are watching my channel. Where are they? There's a mass cover-up going on. It's illegal to do this, YouTube. You're allowing your employee to commit crimes on your behalf. And I noticed they live in Salt Lake City now. Did you move from Provo? Were you working at or going to school at BYU originally? And so you got married and moved to Salt Lake City? Is that what happened? Oh, you're still under the blackout? I know where you live. Did the church give you a job in the Strengthening Church Members Committee? So that you can be a double agent? Oh my hell. Are you a female? Are you? I am curious about that. Because the two females, could be two of you. Well, I still got the notes of our chat as you played dumb. Purposely caused a delay. Saying, oh, it's going to take 48 hours. You just have to wait. It doesn't take 48 hours. It's instant. God, people just lie. And they don't want to do their job. The customer is never right anymore. What the hell is going on? So, Joseph Smith regroups in far west Missouri. The Danites, however, are setting up for the next coup. Joseph Smith is not out. He's back. So, the election going on in Gladden, the Danites call the Danites to gather at Spring Hill, and thus call it Adam on Diamond. Willard Richards is the one who created the history of the forgery. That Joseph Smith was there, and yeah, he said this is the place where Adam went after the fall. Exactly. A lie. It's all part of their code for the coup. This is a similitude test for the latter days again. To remove the head of church government. Trump, you're not listening. And yeah, it was supposed to be Mitt Romney. And Oaks in the Supreme Court. Oaks, were you the chief judge who was to be assassinated in the 2020 election? Oaks? Oaks? Was it supposed to be you? Oh, they rejected you twice? Did you notify Justice Roberts, or did you just change your plan? We're getting to it. If you're still listening. Faith-promoting Mormons aren't listening. They don't want to hear this. This is all lies. The real truth is not real. And I bear testimony of my feelings. And so, yeah, election fraud. Judge and sheriff, we hope you can find 3,000 more votes. I tried to warn Trump. I tried. Bill Barr shut me down and set up Trump for failure, ruining their test run, as it turned out. We're getting there. Yeah, not only did Thomas B. Marsh expose every forged document that Brigham Young would eventually get put into his 2 different Doctrine and Covenants. Notice that all except for the section 132 on polygamy, I think that is the case. Let's check 124 and 128 on baptisms for the dead. No, 1841 for 124 and 128, 1842. Yeah. Those were put in 1844 Doctrine and Covenants of Brigham Young. But baptisms for the dead. And he tries to cover it up, baptismal fonts, similitude of the grave, Elijah restored the powers of baptisms for the dead. No, he didn't. And you can tell by all of the keys, powers, authorities of past dispensations have been restored. You mean the Adam on Diamond priesthood meeting? Where the President of the United States, as Lucifer, hands over the government of the United States of America to Jesus? That priesthood meeting? Oh, it's gone now after I came out and exposed it in the way to perfection? Uh-huh. The government already has the document. They know, and they're still not shutting you down, huh? Did you use Senator Orrin Porter Rockwell Lee to threaten the president again? Nonetheless. And so yeah, these guys are evil. What they did to the Missourians, what they did to Mormons, just evil. Section 117, if you understand the Christian traditional view of the Nicolaitan band. I would hope you would cringe and cry. I hope you're not that cold-hearted to ignore their evil that they've still continued to do to this day. As we hear about these horrific crimes in the news. There was an extermination order for a good reason. It's just that Thomas B. Marsh believed the lie, even though he didn't know firsthand. He makes it clear in the affidavit. These Danites told him Joseph Smith approved everything. That's how they justified it. They were setting it up for Joseph Smith to be removed from leadership again. Remember? The Illuminati pattern of practice. Infiltrate, rise up in number, rise up in rank, take over leadership, coup, New World Order. And so they got rid of Thomas B. Marsh. Brigham Young then became the president of the Quorum of the 12. And they got rid of Joseph, and in the documents, Brigham Young now is the president of the church. He then excommunicated people who were disloyal. And Deuteronomy 19:19 then got kicked into play. Joseph Smith would catch on to this, as he then had the women of the church get Melchizedek priesthood office as well on the very same day. The woman is the church. The church gives birth to the Christ. Joseph now knows my birthday. I mean, the birthday of the Mormon. In the future. Yep. Any of you women listening remember what the 23rd of September was so important in church history for? On the Saturday, week before conference? Anybody? Women's session? Joined with General Conference for the first and last time? her picture, guys. It is awesome. Too bad YouTube is not showing the youngins. So yeah. Joseph Smith gets out of Liberty Jail. Pay attention to his Liberty Jail documents. Sections 121 to 123. False brethren. Amen to the priesthood or the authority of that man. And the evils of Christianity. Excuse me. Refer to section 9 or verse 19 of the first vision that he also wrote in 1838. Couldn't get it published. Wentworth's letter was instead published in the Times and Seasons. Willard Richards tampered with the 1838 by putting in Jesus in the name of the church in verse 1, changing Nephi to Moroni, and changing the change to Malachi. They that come shall burn them. Well, they are the Christians of verse 1, the evil disposed and designing militant missionaries, the Danites. Willard Richards. He's confessing in our canon of Scripture. Here we go. Joseph Smith comes back. Uh-oh, they got to find another way to get rid of him. And so things happen. Joseph Smith finds out that elders are being given fake licenses with the wrong name of the church, and he's pissed. Did you check Brigham's, Heber's, Woodruff's, and George Albert Smith's licenses before they took off to Europe, fleeing the country when you came back? Oops. Yep, and there's a few documents afterward also, like marriage sealings by Joseph to one man and one woman. It's hilarious when Oakes emphasizes one man and one woman after they changed the law of chastity to polygamy and lowered the age of child brides to 11. Evil. Nothing but lies. But yeah, Joseph Smith, we know his signature, and we know who forges his signature. We know that he never changed the name of the church. It's still the Church of the Latter-day Saints to his death. These are facts, Mormons. It's another one of the billion video ideas I got recently. God, I don't want more inspiration. Already got a backlog. Nonetheless, so yeah, Nauvoo becomes the new place. The Danites are poisoning believers in Joseph, so they're dying, claiming that it's a sickness that's going through the town. So Don Carlos Smith and Joseph Smith Sr. die of the poisoning called sickness. These Danites loved to poison people Right, Oaks? Still didn't murder me. You tried. You failed. Oh, so I was administered poison by the enemy, and I didn't die? Ooh, what does the Doctrine and Covenants say about that, Danites? Let's see if we can find it. Oh, no, that he died. We need the Doctrine and Covenants one, but maybe it'll link us to it. 18a. Alma 54. You're not supposed to refer to. What the hell? Poison. Administer poison. Alma 54:7. Hearkening, I would tell you concerning the awful hell that awaits the murderers as thou. What kind of mental retard did this, Bruce R. McConkie? It's a Ballard. Let's try this again. Poison. It's 28 of them. Yeah, 24 has require not miracles, except I command you, except casting out devils, healing the sick, and against poisonous serpents, and against deadly poisons. But that's not what I'm looking for. There is a specific one. Yeah, here it is, 84. And if any man administer poison unto them, it shall not hurt them. And the poison of the serpent shall not have power to harm them. Danites love to do this to the leaders of the church, to show how, oh, you died? Sucks to be you as a false prophet. Joseph never got poisoned to death. So that's why they use poison as their favorite little arsenic and old lace. Arson and old lace. Yep. Amy Smikin. Walked her to school one day. Yep. So, yeah. Joseph Smith now announces of the building of the Nauvoo Temple, obviously. And in the process, the Danites start their financial criminal operation, their underground economy, as they kept a ledger. This is what Al Capone got busted for, dude. But I guess they wanted to keep a record of it just in case Joseph found out about it, so that they can say, no, this was for the temple. See, we kept a ledger of all of those who gave money, and then, so, yeah, we'll release it in the right before Thanksgiving of 2023. So that Travis can do a 6-hour video series on this ledger. It exposes all the names of the Danites. Cox, Mendenhall, and the ones we all know. Yep. Good job, Nelson. Dumbass. No honor and integrity given loyalty to Lucifer. Nonetheless. And so, yeah, there's scandals of polygamy, but that's what the Danites were doing the whole time. Remember the Nicolaitan band? the evils that they were. Yeah, not just snuff raping. The soft swinging. It was hardcore back then for the Danites. Because that's the Christian tradition. And so it's unclear, though we do know that there were men who went to other men's wives and raped them, or she willingly gave it up. But whether there was the Nicolaitan orgy parties is unclear. But the whole thing in section 132, where whoever the two guys were who went to Emma with the section 8 of 132, which Willard Richards wrote, by the way. That's what they were explaining, is that they were going to faithful Mormon women also to compromise them, and thus set up for the proxy wives to Joseph after he's assassinated. Not all of them were willing participants. Many of them were compromised. And so those who gave in joined the Danites. Those who didn't and rejected them were vilified by them. So Emma is vilified. Emma's now rotting in hell. Oh, but they wrote about how Joseph said, they heard it. It's so true. That he would go to hell to save his wife Emma. And that's supposed to be compensation for us, that Joseph threatened to murder Emma if she didn't allow him 10 child bride virgins? Excuse me? The bleeping hell is going on in this church? Oh, right, Lucifer. And so, yes, Nancy Rigdon, she said no, got vilified. And I think she's the one in Sacred Loneliness, isn't she? For the assassination of Joseph by John C. Bennett, who confessed that he was doing it because he thought that that's what the thing was going, because the Danites told him this is what they were doing, that Joseph approved it. And so, in the first presidency, he confesses to Joseph, yeah, I'm doing it. Oh, well, then you got to be excommunicated because you're not supposed to do it. What are you talking about? And so he lies about Joseph. But he can't come back to the Danites. The Danites set you up. The devil never supports his own. You're a sucker and a loser, John C. Bennett, and forms his own Illuminati order. Halcyon order of the Illuminati. Put the whole pieces of the puzzle together, anti-Mormons. So, yeah. And others, if they didn't go with Brigham, they were getting framed and blamed. Thomas B. Marsh's wife. Oh, yeah, he left the church because Joseph excommunicated him on March 17th, 1839, for defending his wife's honor over stolen milk strippings. Really? George Albert Smith, Danite. They love to blame women. They threatened to murder women. There were women who were hostages, but there were women who were willing participants. Right? Xena. Some of the women, like Xena, may have been bribed to comply, who willingly joined once bribed. Others willingly to have sex with other men. There are likely all the different scenarios in play. Just pure evil, what these guys were doing. Extermination order needed to be fully implemented. Nonetheless, it wasn't. So yeah, they set up Joseph Smith as a result. Running for president of the United States, the Danites then formed their secret Council of 50. That's why they kept documents claiming that Joseph Smith was a part of it, so that they can say that Joseph Smith was a part of it when he wasn't. Running for president, he's not forming a coup. This is the Danite plot, the Illuminati plot, 200-year-old plot to destroy America. Joseph Smith originally was the President of the United States figure. Now he's running for president and was used to be murdered. With the print press that they framed Smith for, got him locked up in jail, Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball saw this as their opportunity to murder him then, rather than have him run for president instead. And maybe it's because as they were going around telling people about Joseph Smith, the candidate for president, that there were too many disgruntled people who were Christians who said, well, he's a part of that demon church of the Jews who murdered Jesus. That they realized Joseph Smith may not have won the election for that version of the plot. That Abraham Lincoln then became the victim in the Civil War. Confederates. Hey, they've got inverted pentagrams on their Confederate flag too. Isn't that a coinkydink? Because Joseph Smith Sr. saved the United States of America, it chased out many of the Scottish Rites Illuminati to the south to form the Confederates. Whereas Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball were able to stay behind and infiltrate Joseph Smith. Thus, after the Civil War, many Confederates moved to the land of Dixie. Isn't the South the land of Dixie? Nope. Land of Dixie song. Is about southern Utah. Right, Aunt Dixie? Why did they name you Dixie? Is it because of Grandma? Because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been Grandpa. Since he's got the black DNA in him. grandma has the Danite converted DNA. Nonetheless. Right, Dixie Chicks? Oh, you don't call yourself Dixie Chicks anymore after the Confederate scare that happened? And Antimonium, or whatever they were called, had to change their name too. I like that one song. I Need You Now. Nonetheless. So, are we going to finish soon, or do I need to take a break? 2 bottles of water. So, yeah. With Joseph Smith getting arrested in Carthage jail, Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball went to the Warsaw Lodge. As Joseph Smith becoming a master mason, 1842, so that he can then give women the priesthood and priesthood office on the 17th. Brigham and Heber went back to the Warsaw Lodge, paid the Judas price to have a mob come out and murder him. But Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball made sure to have Willard Richards and John Taylor as backups. Danites escorted Joseph to the jail, except for the Nauvoo commander, John Solomon Fulmer. He was not. He was loyal to Joseph Smith. He was the one who gave Joseph Smith the single-shot pistol, which my Fulmer family all knew about this whole time. We knew the church had been lying. We knew that the church had been lying about Joseph Smith and polygamy. Desdemona Fulmer, sealed by proxy to Joseph Smith, not in 1843. Do you anti-Mormons even check the dates? Do you know what hearsay is and how you shouldn't listen to it? That you need to find original source documents? Dear God. Nonetheless, having pistols, because the Whitlock, John Taylor's friend apparently, also gave Joseph a 6-shooter. Should have consulted with John Taylor. He would have told you not to give Joseph your 6-shooter. Nonetheless, that's how Willard Richards got his. He claims he went out to get wine for the sacrament. And that's when he got his 6-shooter, after the Wheelock visit. They're the ones who told us about it. So when you look at the forensic evidence and you go, no, it wasn't the mob. Couldn't have been. So yeah, what happened is that the mob stormed up the stairs. They couldn't bring their rifles because they're too long. And the witness even said in court that that's what happened. And so then he hears 3 shots, sees them all filing out and having to take care of some wounded. Because Joseph Smith was at the top of the stairs, right oaks, with the 6-shooter. Shot 3 balls. Chased him out. Joseph didn't use all 6. He chased them out. But Hiram is now on the floor. How did that happen? Oh, right, the single shot of my 3rd great-grandfather, John Solomon Fulmer. And there's the John Taylor standing over the fallen body of Hiram. So Joseph shoots the remaining 3 balls into John Taylor. So, John Taylor then says, John Taylor was wounded in a savage manner with 4 balls. But since recovered, Willard Richards, through the providence of God, escaped without even a hole in his robe. Yeah. After chasing him out, Willard Richards came from the corner of the room behind Joseph Smith, shot him in the back as he was mourning over his brother Hiram. Took his body, dumped it out the window, and so thus the mob did their thing then. With the 6-shooter, he then came and shot Hiram right here. He's lying on the ground. Thus, the blood stain on the floor, which Spencer W. Kimball covered up and hid during his term in office. Removed the plaque saying, "This is the blood of Joseph that was spilt." Nope, it's Hiram's. Kimball knows. And covers up and hides for John Taylor and Willard Richards. And yet, didn't remove Section 135? Huh. John Taylor and Willard Richards, 2 of the 12, were the only persons in the room at the time when Joseph and Hiram were shot. Huh. They're claiming both received 4 balls. Is that really necessary? Did Willard Richards get 2 6-shooters? Because Joseph, all of it was covered up and hidden with all of the rifle shots. They loaded, tampered it down, fired, loaded, tamped it down, fired, loaded, tamped it down, fired, repeatedly, over and over and over, of about 100 men or so. Yeah, Joseph had a lot of balls. Now, granted, a rifle is a different caliber than a pistol, but with Joseph bleeding from every pore in the Garden of Gethsemane, remember, not Christian. But Hiram, having the 2, and apparently another 2, because the one was up here, and the other was here. This is the one that felled him. This is the one that caused the blood stain. They're trying to claim there were another 2 balls in them. So, 4, and John Taylor, 1 extra. Joseph with 4, that's now 5. But 2 more in Hiram. Which technically just 3. So there has to be another pistol involved. Because these are pistol shots. Rifle shots are different than pistol shots. Interesting, there's some shots in the door. Isn't that interesting? Ooh, they're too big to be pistol shots. So you would have had to disassemble the rifles to get them up the stairs so that they could fit. And you shot at close range. Exactly. There's one in the door, which the church tries to claim that was the one that got Hiram right here. Oh, do the trajectory. Would have hit him right here. Sorry. Yeah, and yet you're still not getting it, are you? Prosecution for Tyler Robinson. Dear God. Busted. Yeah, the prosecutor is guilty of a crime. Contempt of court is a crime. Even though the death penalty is still on, which it shouldn't have been. But that's what the judge was trying to excuse him for. Oh, it wasn't malicious. Yeah, it kind of was. When you understand Tyler didn't do it, and that they're going in with the death penalty, he did it on purpose, dumbass Mormon judge. Nonetheless, he still got busted for the letter of the law, but excused for the spirit of the law. So, 7, I'm unaware of, because 1 in Taylor, 4 in Joseph, and then 3 in Hiram. That's 8. Because the mob didn't have pistols. John Taylor and Willard Richards didn't originally have pistols. Joseph Smith already shot 3. So, there you have new additional information. Willard Richards had 2 pistols, not 1. And so we only know about the 1. Well, no, that's Joseph, yeah. We don't know about Willard Richards' pistols. He kept that a secret to this day. So yeah, that would have gotten it for John Taylor. That's, you know, that's how I see it fitting in the bigger picture. And so he didn't get the opportunity to give it to John Taylor, because he can't let Joseph know he's got one. So yep, 2 pistols. Wow. Yeah. And so 4 balls still remaining. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, when you go over the forensic investigation, which I've done repeatedly, taking this information, doing the math on this part of it, yeah, there's an extra 2 balls unaccounted for 1 pistol. So where did it come from? Obviously another pistol. And so who could have had that other pistol? The only person that recorded that he left was Willard Richards. Therefore, 2 pistols. That's new information for you this time. assuming that you're a repeater, not a newbie who's still listening after 2 hours. So yeah, it's just, you see right here in verse 3, Joseph Smith, the prophet and seer of the Lord, has done more save Jesus only. There's another big clue that John Taylor is laying to you. Jesus is not real. Joseph made this very clear, that Christianity is all wrong, all abominable, all corrupt. Then read his section 133 on the creeds of Christianity. He calls it creeds of the fathers. And how evil Christianity has been. The Spanish Inquisition, the witch trials, chasing the Jews all over Europe, blaming the Jews for the Black Plague, all of the tortures of human beings, binding them down to Jesus, torturing them, abusing them, causing the poverty, causing the illiteracy. And here we go, Christianity bringing it to America, denying science, denying truth, denying intelligence. And here's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doing it to Mormons in Utah. Spiritual method math now. And one of the other videos I've got listed is about psychology as a cult group. Just like the church is accused of being a cult group. The church is far worse. But yeah, how did you learn about a cult group? Oh, from psychologists? Did you take the bite me model and apply it to psychologists? Oh, exact same pattern match. Amazing. Beam and moat. But yeah, cult group leaders are evil. They ain't got a moat. They've got a beam also. So the beam of psychology is bigger than the beam of cult groups. Yeah, evil knows evil. Nonetheless. So, yep, that's how it happened. And so, Oaks, as their whole 200-year plot is taking place, and we're not going to go over that again. He does the book, Carthage Conspiracy, the trial of the accused assassins of Joseph Smith. This is where Joseph Smith had a pistol and shot at him. They were the ones on trial. It's in the government documents that Joseph had a pistol. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints covered it up and hid it with Section 135. Which was put in 1844, right? Staying alive, staying alive. Yeah. 1844. Obviously. They didn't go to trial. They told the Mormons and they stayed away for fear of their life. Oh no, they're going to murder us too. Really? Because they apparently didn't storm the room. And if they did storm the room, how did Willard Richards not get hit by any balls or dragged out with John Taylor also? And the body of Hiram and the body of Joseph to be shot out there? So you're trying to claim the mob stormed the room used rifles for the pistol shots. The bullet fragment does not match the rifle in the case. Yep, these Danites know all about this, right, Governor Cox? We got him! Death penalty! We got him! You're just dragging it out. The judge, just, dear God, he's playing stupid. Pretending to be the tough guy, and then, God, does what he does. He knows it's internationally being viewed. He knows professionals are going to be watching this. And yet he still does what he did. Every news agency originally reported the contempt of court and went, oh crap, he's busted. And then he comes out on the posting that he said he was going to do to say, yeah, no, we're still going to have the death penalty. Well, what was the punishment then? There is no punishment if he's allowed to get away with it. You hold him in contempt, but you let him get away with it, huh? See, the rest of the world are not buying it. Dear God, he's covering for a fellow Mormon, not the apostate. God. So, yeah, Praise to the Man was then written by W. Phelps. Yeah. W. Phelps, huh? Which, interestingly, yep, Section 85 of the Doctrine and Covenants, put in 1867, the year before Brigham Young died. November 27th, 1832, a letter to W. Phelps. That's why it was not put in the 1835 Doctrine and Covenants or the Book of Commandments in 1833. This was a letter, and he went with Brigham. Brigham knew about it in 1844 because of the Book of the Law. He knew about it in 1842, even though the publication of all of the documents of the ledger, Book of the Law, was published for his Nauvoo painting photo shoot in the Holy of Holies of the Nauvoo Temple, where he's posing with the different books, his 1844 Doctrine and Covenants, his revised Book of Mormon, and the Book of the Law ledger. All there on the table while he's doing the pose. And then that's when he started, December, to endow the women. And then in January and February, sealed the women. And then the second anointing of the women and of Joseph Smith. So anybody claiming that Joseph Smith was given a second anointing while he was alive are spreading the lie. The official primary source document, as the clerk was John D. Lee, was January of 1846. And yet, apparently nobody younger than me is listening, so they don't know, and keep spreading the lies, Alyssa, John Dallin. Jasmine. You don't see how Oakes is laughing at you guys. So 200 years later, I do my thing. Church is freaked and panicked. He's not supposed to be real. Jesus, he's real as not real. Yeah, they don't believe in Jesus either, guys. They believe in Lucifer. But even then, they don't actually believe in Lucifer. When the church calls him a spirit who didn't get a body. When Isaiah makes it very clear, he's a human, just like Emmanuel. Nonetheless. And so, Oakes' leak in 2020. Running a test run for the second coming. Here it is. 200 years of plotting, planning, getting people into positions of power all around the world. Remember? Infiltrate, rise up in rank, rise up in number, take over leadership. Coup. This is the big one now. Getting everybody into place. Hey, Islam did the same thing too. Since the 60s, when Islam realized they ain't gonna get rid of the Jews because of the UN putting them in America supporting them. So they figured out another way. Crying to all of the government leaders, we're being persecuted by our religious patriarchal abusers and sex rapists. Polygamy, help us, save us. Okay. United States has a whole act to bring in Islamic immigrants into America. We started bringing them in mass. They center in Utah, apparently. But yeah, they're not able to rise up in number as quickly without polygamy. They can't practice polygamy in America. But notice the women are still wearing the symbol of their religious sexual abuse. Yeah, this is what's called a sleeper cell. And they visibly made it known that they were sleeper cells, as they're still Islamists. Wait a minute. You came to America to seek asylum because of your religion, Islam, abusing you, and you're still Islamist? You're still wearing the symbol of your rape? Huh. Sure enough, the stupid Westerners let them rise up in number, rise up in rank across the whole United States of America and ultimately the entire world, from sea to shining sea. And then October 7th occurred. The coup. This is the Danite plot. Getting Mormons scattered around the world, rising up in number, rising up in rank, taking over leadership. South Korea has a judge in SCOTUS who's a Mormon, for example. Church had kind of failed. So yeah, they weren't able to do Brigham Young's original plan of taking over Adam on Diamond. We're taking it back, building our kingdom, transferring authority from the president at Adam on Diamond to Jesus, president of the church. And so, yeah, Oakes leaked. I didn't find out for 4 years later, but I knew about it because I filed it. I'm the one responsible for the Insurrection Act. Bill Barr rejected me and then told prosecutors to use it on Black Lives Matter protesters, for which they didn't. And then after January 6th, Biden taking over, and Biden, eventually they sued and locked up the January 6ers for the Insurrection Act, for which Trump pardoned them. I'm supposed to get that money, Trump. That's mine! Congress denied the trillions that he wanted, I guess. I don't know how much it was in the beginning. They had to settle for the 1 point whatever billion. It's mine, Trump. But I see the pattern, though, of how their claims with Deuteronomy 19:19 for false accusers. The United States also needs to give me compensation for damages caused, not just the church. Because the prophecies is that I become the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the great high priest over the whole world, but by default, because the enemy, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, destroys the world and burns it. And so thus the New World Order is not to be the Danites, but me and those who listen as we get to Zion. So I become him by default, because everybody else is dead, just like I am the foremost and only living anthropologist of the ancient Middle East, because everybody else is dead. By default, I'm him. So, nonetheless, Oakes revealed that he is the enemy, and that he is implementing the sacrifice brings forth the blessings of heaven. Earth must atone for the blood of that man. They murdered him and are using their murder to falsely accuse America through falsely accusing the mob, of which, yeah, they were there to do that and were paid the Judas price by Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball from their ledger. Whoops. And here Oakes, going around the world talking about religious freedom and how abusive America is for denying child bride rape in polygamy. I got the talks, Oakes. Oakes hates America. And here he is. He's wanting to burn it to the ground. And so, yes, he was supposed to be a chief justice. That's what the church tried to do to fulfill the 200-year-old plot. 3 Nephi chapter 7. Did you know, Oakes? Did you know that your church was going to murder you? Mitt Romney now knows. Which was the other option. Whoops, not the Bible. 3 Nephi chapter 7. This was supposed to be 2020. because of the dates that they give you in code. 8 April 2024 is Revelation 19. Revelation 19 is 3rd Nephi chapter 11. 34 years, take away 4, 2020. It came to pass in the 97. Now behold, I will show unto you that they did not establish a king over the land, but in this same year, yea, the 30th year, 2020, they did destroy upon the judgment seat, yea, did murder the chief judge of the land. That would have been Oaks. Had he been put in either of those 2 recommendation times, he would have been the chief judge, not Roberts. The church was planning to murder Oaks, according to the law of sacrifice, to get their kingdom back. Now, whether or not they also planned on getting a Mormon president in, Mitt Romney, for 2012, that's unclear because that was after Oaks's failures. Oaks was recommended before this, right? We need to check this, because this is important for the topic. Dallin H. Oaks. Okay. There were 2 of them for Oaks. And I did one on 2/10/2026. Let's try this one. Oops. Gonna have to stop before 3 hours anyway, so we're wrapping it up, I hope soon. Just in case you were concerned that it might, oh God. Nope. That was his BYU talk. That's not it either. The Wikipedia one, guys. I know I got it, but did I keep it on this device? All of this talks now. It's not what I want. Let's do this. PDF. White horse. Isn't it? Actually. I do not have it on this device. On my own. Okay. Whatever. Here I come, Google. More time gets wasted. You did remember you're supposed to use the Spirit on the Book of Mormon? That's why it's Oaks that was supposed to be the chief judge. Mitt Romney, the president. Because if Mitt Romney won in 2012, he would have won in 2016. That would have been his second time. And yet, happen that way, did it? They keep failing. See, yeah, there's the two on Wikipedia. See, Dallin H. Oaks and then Dallin H. Oaks Simple English. He's got the two different ones. So let's get them again. Hello? Why are you frozen? What are you doing? We're projecting what you're wanting to do. Bleep you. Restore it back to the original intelligent design of when I click on my mouse, you respond immediately. Monkey see, monkey do computer work. Computer programming. Oh my oh. There it is. Utah Supreme Court. Oh, that's career. Career. Okay. Law clerk. Law school. Associate Dean. University of Michigan. Really? Did you have a talk with Todd about how Todd was denied getting his master or PhD thesis and getting a PhD at the University of Michigan? So I'm not seeing it here. Oh, here it is. U.S. Supreme Court consideration. Was twice considered for nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court. 1975 under Gerald Ford, and then 2010. No, Ford ultimately. No, 81. There it is. Oh, that's interesting. 81. Reagan. When the church joined the secret combination of America to overthrow the government. Oh, Council for National Policy. Oh, and yep, failed. Interesting. Yep, so both of them were before Mitt Romney. Am I still recording? Yes. It's amazing how I'm left alone sometimes, other times I'm attacked. So yeah, Mitt Romney was the second option, to have a president instead of a Supreme Court justice. And that failed too. Because had Mitt Romney won, knocking out Obama, Mormon, or the United States choosing a Mormon rather than the continuation of a black president, he would have run in 2016. Remember? In the first year of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah. Their plan was to have that be the first term of a president. But it would have been Mitt Romney's second term. So is it Hillary who was supposed to beat Mitt Romney? I'd rather be Russian than vote Democrat? Would Mitt Romney have a P-tape? Would he grab women by the kitty cat? They let you get away with it? Any dark secrets in your past, Mitt? So yeah, that's what it seems like it might have been. But if Mitt Romney wins, then the Book of Mormon is wrong that way. So yeah, a new candidate was supposed to be starting in 2017. So that for the 2020 election, the chief judge is assassinated. And so the president could then have excuse to tamper with the election. America's fed up, and national divorce. Because that's what it talks about here. This is their plot. That they were going to murder the chief judge, and the people being so divided that they refused the election results. And so each state in the Union becomes now it would be MAGA or Antifa state, or liberal and conservative state. Such that you would have people who are of the other party in a state have to flee to one of the other states that's of their party. And then a civil war begins. The federal government's dissolved. Thus, they did destroy the federal government of the land. And the regulations of the federal government were destroyed because of the secret combination of the Friends, Confederates, and kindreds, Danites, of those who murdered Joseph Smith. The two prophets murdered, who are to be Jewish definition of the correctly translated resurrection and interpreted for restoration. Joseph Smith erected, Brigham Young insurrected. I'm supposed to, and I'm trying to resurrect it. Big difference. It isn't the zombie apocalypse of Christians. Oh yes, a lot of great zombie movies. And shows. This was their plan. And so this would have been when I would have been kicked out of Utah. The Exodus, maybe. One of the two. The Danites want to kick me out. They didn't expect me to show. They didn't believe I'd be real. Remember, Korihor doesn't believe in the coming of a Christ. That's the Danites. They are self-fulfilling all of this under the guise of Christianity, using Jesus as the code name. And here they come to cast out the Mormons from Utah, who are apostates, who can't be loyal. By having Utah become its own nation, Cox would have instantly handed it over to the church. We all know this. Everything that is going on right now, they caused. Go back in time. Brigham Young comes to this valley. He's claiming it's the Garden of Eden. It's a desert wasteland. And yet, for 200 years of the greatest snow on earth, they don't produce it into a garden paradise again to restore it to its original glory? They allow climate change and pollute the land so that we have severe inversions that get on record for being the worst around the whole world? To cause the drought? When Cox took over in 2021, he confessed, yeah, previous governors made mistakes. I'm forming a committee to have a discussion to talk about what to do for the future. A committee. They can share their feelings. We can allow women. And the fruits of that committee is the worst drought ever. And it's going to last for at least 5 years. And you still don't catch on to the Danites, the destruction company who destroys and burns, as Utah is burning up in flames. And I saw yesterday, after posting the video and checking the analytics, 6 hours of 0 views. Not only do I not have anybody younger than me viewing, apparently all of you are right here in the Salt Lake Valley. A mass blackout yesterday. It's expected today too. I checked this morning and it was minimal at no more than 500 for both the St. George area and the Salt Lake Valley. But, hours have gone by. We need to wrap it up quick because the video camera will shut off anyway at 3-minute hours. It's going up. It's going up. Oh crap, guys. It's still minimal. But it's going up since a few hours ago. So yeah, as the day goes on, there's going to be more. This is going to be a daily thing, apparently. All through the summer. This is what's happening. The conditions to kick out people from Utah. And only the people who can leave are those who are rich enough to pack up and go. So people who are living paycheck to paycheck, they ain't going to be rich enough. And then you see also that they've been trying to get an ice facility, a massive homeless concentration camp. They've got gabillions of asylums. And they're wanting more. Psychology running rampant. Do you not see the bigger picture of what they're doing? And you're allowing AI data centers, except in Box Elder? Getting all excited. Yeah. They're destroying Utah. Oaks. By coming out and confessing, yeah, Lucifer, look at the pretty star. Love him as I love him, and there will be eternal life. He's doing all this on purpose. Suing John Dallin, suing Easton, a Mormon. Yeah. He's dividing the wheat from the tares, the sheep from the goats, wanting to find out who the tares and the goats are so that he can have you bound here in Utah to be burned. The others are cast out and scattered to utterly destroy this church. Trump failed. Their 200-year-old plot failed. And so they're going down in flames to take America down with the church. That's why he's sending out 18-year-old girls now. Get out and die out in the world. You won't be coming home, girls, boys, older presidents and couples. The church is ending it. That's why he's coming out in all his glory of no glory. That's why he told you, spiritual method math, that little girls need to start breeding. Lucifer is the Christ. He's not expecting next year's temple open house. But if he keeps failing, he needs a backup. Trump has got a severe illness, terminal. Trump isn't going to last much longer. That's why the period of time where he says J.D. Vance will just take over. J.D. Vance, yeah, made his appearance on Bill Murray last night. And yeah, he ain't going to last long as president. He's going to suck big time. They purposely chose him to be the figurehead for the vice president, to just be a lackey with no intention of him being a president. Because Brigham Young, if Joseph Smith became president, would have assassinated him in office so that Sidney Rigdon would become the president as the vice president. Then Brigham Young would say, hey, let's use this council of 50 that we can have to have you declare martial law in America for the revenge on the enemy that murdered Joseph Smith. Just like the patsy who murdered Abraham Lincoln. And the whole, ooh, what a coinkydink between the patsy of Kennedy and the patsy of Lincoln. You know, not quite, but sort of. They're running tests all this time. So those kinds of things you look for the false flag alerts of the test rooms. That's how you're able to distinguish them. Whereas you get people who just make stuff up to claim it's a conspiracy theory by redefining conspiracy theory. And then people are confused. Oh, well, conspiracy now means something false and a false flag operation? Oh, so we shouldn't listen to anybody who speaks conspiracies? Yeah. Destroying America. Destroying the Constitution. Religious freedom. So yeah, that's very interesting. And see, I told you so. We're back fighting Iran again. How did Travis know? I was sure this was going to be final. So yeah, everything the Danites did, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is doing. Stealing, destroying, burning. The church could have turned this into a garden paradise, set the whole example for the whole world, having a bishop's storehouse at every ward. Nope. That was not their intention. They caused the drought. They caused the fires. They caused the record heat. They knew how to fix it. They refused to do so. They polluted the land. They're destroying everything. But, you know, if they get to keep on existing and get their kingdom back, they've got it all set up to lock everybody up, to be slaves to the system. Law of consecration. You really do need to pay attention, guys, if you're a Mormon, not a follower. So the Strengthening Church Members Committee, did you ever read the Covenant Paths? Law of sacrifice. You're supposed to sacrifice your life, Oaks, for the church to get their kingdom back. So you're supposed to be assassinated as a Supreme Court Justice. And since you failed, you've got to take your own life now. Irene, you're next. Hey, are you ready to hand it over to me, Irene? Because I'm already ready to go whenever you take over. Assuming you're not going to transfer it to me like you're supposed to. Because Irene still remembers, right? My 9/11 2024 dream. See, I got the spirit. Do you? No, you don't even have the tea. So that's what we got. Failure by the enemy. So yeah, the prophecies talk about Oaks getting locked up for his crimes. I'm not seeing that happen anytime soon. Trump is helping Oaks instead. But he's gonna die. Once he dies, dear God, even right before he dies, he is going to go all in on destroying America because he knows he's about to die. So be aware. Be on the alert. And again, Green River Overpass. If that ends up being the scenario of utter destruction, let's at least have some survivors at 3 hours into this video who know where to go to meet the Green River Overpass, and then we'll head east from there, try to rebuild the human race. But there has to be a female, and there are no females watching who are single. I end up being Zoram with no House of Ishmael. The hell, I'm Nephi. I've been the good guy. I still laugh because they don't say that it was arranged marriages, and yet that's the Jewish tradition, and yet it's just like, oh yeah, the women just filed off with the different boys, and it's just a perfect match. One just happened to plead, no, don't murder Nephi, and then she became his wife. It was an arranged marriage. So yeah, now you know the rest of the story. This is it. We're all doomed. We're all gonna die. They will never admit. They will never hand it over. I'm trying, but there's nothing I can do. They have shut me up from you. Or at least not letting me see. I may have millions of views, and I don't know it because they're covering it up and hiding it from me. You really should notify me, guys. Hey, I'm a newbie. I've been watching for years. I'm 35. I'm a female. I'm 27. I think you're so cute, Travis. Maybe they're deleting your comments. I do have that condition. There are people who get their comments deleted, right, Bewitched? Are you back yet? Are you allowed to watch? Are you allowed to comment? Are you watching not signed in?